welcome back to another video. I'm Laurel if you are new here. I am here today to do the AUTHORTUBE Newbie Tag 2.0. I did the first one, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks ago or so, and I thought I would do the second one for you guys today. So let me pull up the questions here. So number one is, what is your book's pitch? So I just finished my first manuscript during NaNoWriMo last month, and while my book is finished, beyond all of the editing that needs to happen, I still have not composed a synopsis or a blurb or an elevator pitch or anything of that sort. I find it really nerve-wracking, and I find it such a hard balance between not giving too much away while still giving away enough to entice the reader, and I just don't know yet. I have not landed on my blurb yet. What I can say is that it's a YA hard-hitting contemporary, definitely on the older end of YA, maybe even starting to creep into new adult. It's kind of tricky because it spans 10 years, so it starts definitely with YA themes and then slowly moves towards new adult themes. Hard-hitting contemporary. There is a lot of discussion of mental health, of trauma backgrounds, of 2S LGBTQIA+ relationships, and then of course there's a little bit of romance and a whole lot of growing up at a summer camp. So that's a lot to try and put into a concise blurb, and this question is already taking me way too long to answer, so I'm just gonna say I don't know. I don't have a pitch yet. Number two, if I were a book, how would I pitch myself? This is probably easier. I am a wife, a mama of 3 boys until they tell me otherwise, a spoonie, which means I battle chronic illnesses. I have a long-standing history with mental illness and am on a journey with that. And I am a writer, an author, a author-tuber or creator-tuber or just a YouTuber, whatever you want to call it. I run a blog about chronic illness and mental health with my best friend, and I love baseball and movies and spending time with my family and music. Definitely music. That's probably at the top before anything else. I don't know, is that a pitch? I'm not good at this. Can you hear my dog walking around? It's really distracting me. Number 3, what do you usually write? I almost always write YA, and the specific genre would be contemporary, if that even counts as a genre these days. But I do definitely lean toward the side of like hard-hitting contemporary. Definitely not young adult, definitely on the older side. What's something I'll never write? Probably romance, like a full-blown Fabio on the cover romance. That is not my scene at all. I don't read them, I don't write them. I can definitely throw some romance into a contemporary novel, that's not a problem, but I'm definitely not a romance writer. What's your goal for starting an AUTHORTUBE channel? I've talked about this in the part 1 of this video, and I've been on YouTube for a long time, so I kind of know the ins and outs, and I know what I've really missed in the time that I've been off YouTube, as well as what I didn't miss at all and what I want to stay away from this time. So basically, the reason for me rebooting this channel and transitioning sort of to more AUTHORTUBE content, but still having a little bit of lifestyle in there as well, was to make other writer friends. And not for a marketing standpoint, although eventually that may be a benefit, more so to actually make friends who get it, who understand what being a writer is like, who understand the highs and lows of trying to publish a book, just to connect with other people who can relate about those things. Number 6, what made you want to start writing? I've written since I was a child. It was never really a choice. There wasn't anything that made me want to start writing. I've just always been a writer. You see a lot of quotes and stuff about don't try to be a writer, be writing. Something along those lines. That may not be exactly right. That's sort of how I feel. I have always been a writer from the time I could hold a pencil. And of course it's waxed and waned throughout different points in my life, but there's nothing that made me want to be a writer. It's just, that's who I am. What's your publishing path? So my hope, especially for this NaNoWriMo manuscript that I'm currently editing, Project Camp is what I'm calling it, my hope is traditional publishing. I really feel like, although it may sound really arrogant to say, that's not the way I want to say it at all, but that's not what I mean when I say this. I think this book could really do some good, and I think it deserves the chance to be traditionally published. I have lots of other book ideas that I know would probably never be picked up by a traditional publishing house, and that's okay. If I end up doing some self-publishing down the line, I'm totally cool with that. If I become a hybrid author, that's awesome too. But this book, I really feel like needs to be traditionally published, and I feel like it can be, and I hope that doesn't sound arrogant to say. After decades of wanting to make that jump in my mind from writer to author, because I really do feel like those are two different things, and I feel like there's a certain point in time where you make that leap, and it's probably different for everybody. It may be when you start writing your first book, when you finish writing your first book, when your first book is fully edited and ready to be published, when you actually release the book into the world. Like, there are so many different places in time where people could then say, now I'm an author. For me, now that my first manuscript is finished, I have literally written a book. I now am comfortable calling myself an author, and it's been decades since that goal has sort of been mulled around in my mind, and after this long, I feel like I kind of know. I just have a feeling about this book. Again, I'm not trying to sound full of myself or anything, because if you've watched any of my nano videos, you will know that I literally blew my socks off myself when I finished my manuscript. I was so shocked. I was so happy. I like almost cried on video. It was like a whole big thing. I never imagined myself being here saying these words. So I just want to try and clear that up. I'm not trying to be like cocky or anything. I don't think my manuscript is like this gem among the ruins. It's just, I have a feeling in my soul about this manuscript in particular, and I want to give it a fair shot at being traditionally published. What content do you bring to the AuthorTube table? Well, considering I transitioned this channel right before NaNoWriMo, so far it's just been a whole lot of NaNoWriMo. But I think my niche and where my channel will be slightly different than a lot of other AuthorTube channels is that I am a wife, I am a mom of 3 kids, so I'm coming at this journey to becoming a published author from a little bit different life situation than many others may be. I have a lot of new friends in the AuthorTube community that are all still in college, just finishing college, you know, just sort of starting into their adult life. And I don't think there's anything wrong with all those different ages and life situations commingling. I think that's what makes this community so great, is that it is so diverse. But that's sort of what I feel my little niche is, or my difference with my AuthorTube content, is that I'm working around nap schedules and school drop-offs and after school activities and all of these sorts of things. And I don't have a full-time job. I am a stay-at-home mom, so I don't have those things to navigate around. So my position isn't necessarily harder or easier, it's just different. And I want to show that side of the writer journey, the author journey. What is my biggest writing struggle? That would definitely be one that's pretty common, I think, which is when you get to sort of that 1/3 or halfway mark in your manuscript and all of a sudden you're like, this is trash. Like, why am I writing this? This story sucks. These characters suck. I don't like this story anymore. I don't want to write it anymore. That has been my experience all the way up until this NaNoWriMo. And for me, not saying this is for everybody, but for me, it was due to a lack of plotting. I didn't have enough of the plot or the character arcs flushed out in my mind before I dove into the story. So when I get to that sort of midway point or 1/3 point where I'm sort of starting to feel lost and like I don't know where I'm going, that's when I start getting really down on the plot and the characters and everything overall, when really it's just I'm stuck in this hard place and I didn't do enough planning ahead of time to easily move me through that hard place and get back to an easier spot. So that's sort of where my writing process has fallen apart in years previous. And this NaNoWriMo, I Preptobered my butt off. I used Natalia Lee's Preptober workbook, which was amazing. And I really, really worked my butt off. I outlined all 50 scenes. There didn't end up being 50 in the end, obviously. There was a little bit more than that. But I wanted to have a couple of sentences at least written for every 1,000 words that I was writing, so that I would keep chugging along. I knew where I was going next and what was happening after that and what was happening after that. So with that amount of prep up front, I didn't hit that wall because I knew what was coming next. So there was never a point where I was like, I don't know what to do. There was 2 or 3 days where I just didn't feel like writing. I didn't feel 100%, or I was really tired or what have you, and I just didn't really feel like writing through the NaNoWriMo process. But it wasn't a, I don't know what happens next, I don't know how to continue, I don't know what to write. It wasn't that. It was just like, I don't feel like writing today, I'm really tired kind of thing. So this was the first time that I have not come up against that biggest struggle for me. And I'm hoping that I've now sort of figured out how to prevent it in the future. What's my best writing skill? I guess maybe my voice, I would say. Does that count as a writing skill? I don't know. I mean, my grammar and stuff is pretty good, but there's definitely lots of stuff that I've been editing. But I think it's more that I really have a grasp on my voice and my style of writing. And when I know where I'm going with the story, it all just kind of flows, and I don't really have trouble with the actual putting together of words. Unlike speaking in this video. If you've been on YouTube for a while, what's your best AuthorTube tip? So I've been on YouTube for years, but I've only been on AuthorTube for a couple of weeks. So this is kind of tricky to answer. My best YouTube tip would be consistency is key. If your subscribers know you always upload at 12 o'clock on Tuesdays, that's where you can find me, then they know that they can find you there, that there will be a video for them to sit down with their lunch with and watch, or, you know, that sort of thing. And that consistency triggers the algorithm, and it can see that you are on it. You are putting out your video at the same time every week. People are watching your video because they know when it's going to go up. So consistency is number one, I think, for YouTube. And in terms of AuthorTube in particular, I don't really feel qualified to give advice. Are you looking for any new channels to follow, betas, CPs, or other types of writer buddies? If so, tell us who you're looking for and connect with them in the comments. I'm really looking to connect with other writers and authors who are in the beginning phases of their journey, but are at a point in life where they're doing the damn thing, you know? I can appreciate everyone in all their different walks of life and all their different stages and ages and all of those things. And I've made tons of great friends in all varying stages, and I already talked about that, but I would really love to connect with other writer or author mamas, as well as Canadian writers and authors. I have met so many cool people, but they've all but one have been American so far. So bring on the Canadians. Where are you? Hi, hello. It's cold outside, eh? And that's who I'm looking for right now, just to connect on a level of friendship and encouraging each other down this path. What are you most excited for during this new fresh start on AuthorTube? That seems kind of appropriate since I just transitioned this channel to an AuthorTube recently. I'm already having so much fun with it. I have really enjoyed putting out all this content. I've really enjoyed being back on YouTube, and I'm so grateful for all the friends I've already made. You guys have made all the difference in me restarting this YouTube journey, as well as restarting this journey to being an author. And I've had so much fun with everyone that I've connected with already. And that's definitely the part I'm most excited about. Just making more friends who get it, who are living this life, writing, trying to publish books, marketing themselves, trying to become authors. I cannot wait to see all your books on the bookshelf, and I am so grateful that you have been along this journey with me as well. So that is what I'm most excited about, being new-ish on AuthorTube. Is just, it's been amazing so far, and I can't wait for that to continue. So that is the AuthorTube 2.0 tag. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you are having a beautiful day. It is very cold and snowy here. Let me show you. Can you see that? Ooh, so much snow. Very cold and snowy here, and I have not had my coffee yet, so it is definitely time for me to do that. Thank you so much for watching my video today, for hanging out with me, and I hope that I will see you in the next one. Bye, friends.